So I went live early, like a minute early. Sue me. Don't sue me. Hi, I'm Mike. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do the countdown, and then I was like, 30 seconds is too long. I'm just gonna start my intro. And then halfway through my intro, I wanted to just stop my intro and say hi, but whatever, I'm good. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to my first live stream of the year, which is on the first day of the year. That's fun. Let's see what we got. Who do we got already? We got Keith. What's up, my dude? Ionicus also here. Happy New Year to you as well. Hope everyone's doing okay. I'm doing okay. Before we get going, if you're watching this, you want to hit the like button. You can also hit the dislike button. It doesn't do anything, but you can. It's still engagement, but I mean, it's nicer if you hit the like button. Yeah. So, I got stuff to unbox, but I don't. Bizzle Blue 38. Hi, how are you? Happy New Year to you as well. I've got some stuff to open. I don't know if you watched my last live stream. I did like literally 2 hours before I left for the airport to go visit family for Christmas. And I just got back like 2 days ago. And in between there, had a couple videos go live. Obviously, we finished the unboxing, the what is it? The advent calendar unboxing. That was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And then I posted a bots and shots. That's fun. And then also I did the RoboSend video. I don't know if that was a surprise to anyone. It was a surprise to me when I got it in the mail. I did not pay for it. It was sent to me, so that was nice to get. Transformers Talk Route. How you doing, Matt? Yeah, it's a good haul pick. And most of this is not really gifts. It's just stuff I got, but some of it is gifts. And I'll get into that. Who it's from. We'll open it. I promise. I also just have some toys I'll open too. Just stuff that I got in the mail while I was gone. Things like that. Jess O'Kelly, Happy New Year to you as well. Mark, Happy New Year. Yes, Keith, bots and pots. I hope that people enjoyed that. I don't know if we got as crazy or as wild as we normally do in bots and shots, but we did get giggly. I think there was literally one point where I was laughing so hard, I thought I was going to pass out because I was laughing so hard. It was weird. I've never laughed like that before, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to record. And my favorite part was the lack of a hangover the next day, because when we do bots and shots, we're doing 5 double shots, like 10 regular shots in one night is a lot on your body. And especially when you're pushing 40, like I am, it takes a while to recover. Honestly, I left most of the outtakes inside. I have my videos for bots and shots have gotten longer because I've been leaving them in. So what you see there is most of it. Some of it, not all of it, but most of it. Dubella. Happy New Year. Oh, what are you building? Let me know, please. Toilet clogger. That's a great point. I probably will never do bots and shrooms, and the reason for that, it's always a struggle when you get drunk, or high, and you work on a project. Is you can easily forget stuff and miss stuff or break something. I'm using my camera, I'm using my tripod, I'm using my computer. And if I'm super drunk or high while I'm doing all this, I could break something, or I could forget to hit record on the audio or the video. There's like 1,000 things that can go wrong. And if you're not like all the way there, it can get worse. So, definitely though, good point. We probably won't do shrooms ever on the show, but good point. Also, when we're messing with bots, we have to worry about what bots we're doing on the show. Like we don't want to break anything, and we can't do anything too hard. I'll talk about that in a bit because I got one that I haven't even transformed yet because I'm a little nervous about transforming it. I'm glad, Sideways, that you like that episode. Yeah, well, the shot glasses we do are, and they're like, are they on? Where are they? Oh, they're just off screen right up here. But the shot glasses we do are double shot glasses. So if I fill them up, it's a 2-shotter basically. Paul Morales, hello. Yes, Zach's tunnel vision look is great. I like that as well. Building new Lego AT-ST and Stormtrooper battle pack. That's fun. And a buildable Iron Man Mark 42. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. Thanks for letting me know. I do like to know. We won't do bots and pots and pots, I guess we're calling it now. I like this phrase you guys have made. That's not something we'll do all the time because I mean drinking alcohol is still like our thing, but it is something we'll probably throw in every once in a while. Mostly, like I said, it's just it's easier on me the day after. That's for sure. I'm trying to figure out why the focus keeps messing up, but I don't really care, I guess. Yeah, sometimes my mic is down here. Sometimes it's up there. Sometimes I put it up screen. It's just a Yeti. It's a Yeti. I've had it forever. I've had this mic. Actually, this is the mic we used to record my very first podcast back in 2011. And then I bought it from a friend back in like 2016, 2017. And it's what I've been using for making most of my audio recordings. So yeah, that's just a fun fact, I guess. In Bots and Shots episode, you guys should do a transform it as a competition to see who gets it done first while drunk. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been comfortable doing it as a race, especially depending on how drunk we are. Mostly because it's not super fair because like we both have different tolerances for alcohol. But I mean, it's something we'll think about. I'm not saying no, but obviously they have to be the same figure, and I wouldn't want it to be something I cared about. Like, I don't want to break it and care. Like, if it's something that we don't care about or whatever, like that's fine. But that's an option. That's a good point. While we're going, I'm gonna go ahead and unbox my first unboxing. We got a couple people hanging out here again. I'm just gonna keep saying this. If you're watching, if you want to hit that like button, feel free. But I got this box here. This is a box. This is not something that someone just randomly sent me. I actually bought this from somebody. Hi, kitten. Hi. Come here. This is my kitten. This is Cassie. She probably came in to eat something. You're going to chew on some of my toys? Mm-hmm. Go on. All right. Anyways, I decided very late recently, I should say, that I wanted to collect the Walmart exclusive Ninja Turtles. Like the reissues of the original ones. I have them. I have my originals. I've got a couple of reissues. I don't know. Oh, wait. This is from Papa Gourd. Okay, never mind. This one's from Papa Gourd. I should have looked at the top, but I marked it out. So I'm looking at the wrong thing. So Papa Gourd, if you're watching, or if you're watching on the replay, I love you. I sent him something. He sent me something. Not really a surprise, but he did send me a little Shang-Chi, the Great Protector Lego set. That's kind of fun. He does those. He likes to send those little things. He also sent a little there we go. He sent a little note of what's in here. The Lego is obviously for Lily because he knows Lily likes Lego. But the main thing in here is this. This is the Gaming Greats Jedi Fallen Order Night Brother. I sent him the Bodhi Rook. He sent me a Night Brother. I feel like I got the better end of that deal, mostly because I don't know anyone in America that has it. I don't think it's been released yet. Anyways, he also sent a couple of little things here. There's a little ketchup bottle. These are accessories for my little mini mic figure. Oh, is a card in here? Hold on. Let me get that out here. Ooh. This is a little cross stitch. That's gonna get hung up, that's for sure. I did have to. We lost a cross stitch. I hung one on our wall, and my kitten somehow stole it and hid it. We have no idea where it went. So I have to keep that off the ground, and I have to keep it out of reach of the kitten because she'll take it. Anyways, oh good. Here's a little A1. Ketchup and A1. Those are both things that little mini Mike likes. So, anyways, that's my Papa Gourd box. There's a little card in here. I want to take a look here. I feel bad. I didn't send him anything other than the figure. I was like, here's the figure. I'm really bad at that stuff. You know, the thoughtful things. I'm very transactional. All right. Yeah, oh, it's a little Christmas card here. So it's a little Christmas card of Papa Gourd's family, which is very nice. Lovely family. And then it says, Happy Holidays, Mike and Lily. Hope you have a great holiday season. That Santa brings you something nice. There we go. Thank you, Papa Gourd. That's going to go someplace special. But in the meantime, let's pop this open, huh? I'm going to count this as a 2021 figure because technically I got it in 2021. I just didn't open it, but I've had it actually since I think the day after I left before Christmas. So I think it came Christmas Eve from Canada, which is pretty fast because I think it was less than a week that he sent it. So I'm gonna do probably one of my normal gaming greats videos on it, or I just do like a comparison. Ooh. I like this. That looks good. I like that a lot. I like that. Anyway, come on, focus. Focus. There we go. There's like splotchy colors, and I'm pretty sure it's done purposefully. I like the little mace thing he's got. This is good. Yeah, he's basically the Darth Maul upper torso and the Darth Maul lower torso, just recolored and like a different head. He's definitely he's spikier, and these spikes are pretty. They're pretty spiky. That's for sure. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit later. But Papa Gourd, I didn't really intend to open yours first. That was a mistake. But if you're watching, if you show up, I'll re-show it. But that is good. I was actually just talking with him about this, and with a couple other people. Is a common toy collector thing, but for like people that are super into like Black Series. I think the last time I got a Black Series figure for Christmas from like my wife or family was 2015, and my wife got me the TIE Fighter and she got me the TIE Fighter and that Entertainment Earth 4-pack. And I think that's the last Black Series figure I've gotten for Christmas, because after that it became more of a thing. Like you had to buy them when they came out, or else you miss them. So you can't wait. If you're someone like me and you got it and you're collecting them all, like you can't just leave one to chance. Like you don't know if it's going to be a peg warmer. You don't know if it's going to be like a thing. If you miss it, you'll never see it again. So yeah. Anyways, Matt, Transformers Talk Raw. If you guys just shout him out here, go give his channel a little listen to. He does fun short style videos where he talks about memories and things like that. I like his channel a lot. It's one of those channels I put on in the background. Also, I can't I can't go super late with this today because I have to go pick up my some family from the airport. So let's see. Keith says, bring back the pan flute. That guy, well, first of all, I don't work there anymore. He hasn't been back. I think since the last time I released an episode or a video, I don't think he's been back since then, but he found my video. You can go look at my, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a pamphlet video I made back in like 2016 on my channel. It's one of my first videos. It's definitely one of my bigger videos as well, because it went like minorly viral. And actually there was an article about it in like the UK. I don't know. But the guy I recorded found the video. He didn't like it. And he actually thought we were friends. He actually thought I enjoyed him. And I feel a little bad about that because he definitely doesn't really speak English. And he definitely asked me to crash at my house one time. And it was weird. I didn't know how to say no other than like, no. Darth Remenak, Happy New Year to you as well. Smash that like button. Thank you. It's free. It's easy to do. Anyways, thanks for the $2 there, Matt. That's definitely going to go towards a cup of Joe for sure. I'm sure most people are waiting for that to be repainted into Savage Press. I agree. Although I'm just going to be honest, if it is repainted, we need a new lower half. This is dated. This was one of the first things they ever made. These feet are awful. These knees are awful. His leg stance is awful. They just need to, like, this is great. We have the new shoulders. We have the new elbows. Great head, new neck. This is terrible. So if they do a Savage, I think he needs to be bigger. Number one, he's a big dude. I wouldn't even hate it if they made him a deluxe, to be honest with you. But he needs a whole new downstairs. Michael Cherry. I don't know why I said that weird. Happy New Year to you as well. Toilet Clogger. Yes, a Jedi's ketchup bottle. That's a thing. Nice. GameStop needs to hurry up with those. I agree. I'm surprised. And the thing is, I didn't actually cancel mine because I obviously pre-ordered it as well, but I didn't cancel it because like there's a bunch of these guys in the game and I wouldn't mind having more than one. So it's real nice. Wasn't GameStop supposed to be going on? They're closing stores, but they're not going out of business. It's not really the same thing. Papa G is one of the best people I know, for sure. Keith says, wifey bought me an Admiral Piet, and I cannot stop staring at him. That every character that uses that mold, Piet is great. All of them are great. Agreed. Looks good. Are those? Yeah, they're the old mall legs for sure. Yes, the TIE Fighter was huge. It's honestly, it was one of my favorite presents. And it was perfect because like it wasn't super popular. And I felt bad just buying it. So Lily getting it for me for Christmas was good. It was a perfect present. That Jedi Fallen Order collection just keeps growing. Yep, mine will. Yeah, that's true. I was actually thinking about that earlier because I was messing around with the Zalbar, which is actually right here. I was picking him up because he fell over, and I was thinking about that. Is I need a video game section, I guess. But Jedi Fallen Order is taking up a good chunk of it. Hit the likes, friends. Yes, thank you. That's true. I think I heard that song too many times. DJ Ronan. Yeah, Savage needs to be a deluxe for the added bulk. I completely agree. 100% agree. Canadian Blu-ray 4K. Happy New Year. Seth Pierce is here. You know what? Seth Pierce is here. I'm not going to open his... He sent me a box too, but I'm going to open the one that I thought I was going to open up first. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I'm going to open up Seth Pierce's box. All right. This is the one where I needed... Oh, he like super wrapped this really well. I needed one turtle to complete the 4 turtle set, and I couldn't find it because they're Walmart exclusive. I only care about having the turtles. I'm not even opening them up. I'm literally putting them on my wall as decoration. Which feels weird because I'm an opener, but I just like these so much. They're perfect. So I've got the Donatello here. I remember getting Donatello originally for Christmas, and it had to have been like Christmas of 88 or 89. Maybe 88. Yeah, it was a while ago. I remember I was in South Carolina, spent the night at my dad's mom's house, my Nana. It was a good night. I had a hard time going to sleep, but I got a bunch of turtles. Donatello, I also got, I think, a foot soldier. I got Krang, with the little Krang, not the big body Krang. I got that one for Christmas later. But yeah, I love these. I've got the other three on my wall over here in my turtle section. I love that they've recreated them in really good kind of turtle fashion here. I like it a lot. It looks great. And you know what's weird about Donatello? He went from being my least favorite turtle to somehow being my most favorite turtle. It used to be Michelangelo was my most favorite turtle. And in some ways he always will be, because my name's Michael. He was my first turtle. I can't it's hard to say no to that. But when I'm watching something, I always love Donatello. I don't know, I always do. All right. And here we have the box from Seth Pierce. There we go. Oh, what part of South Carolina were y'all at? Well, I was born in Florence. My grandparents lived in Timmonsville. Well, one set of grandparents lived in Timmonsville. At the time, my other parent during that year, 88, 89, I lived in Winston-Salem, and my mom's parents lived like right down the street from us. And then my dad's parents lived on you can actually Google it. I don't care if you do, because they don't live there anymore. But it's an air park called Air Acres. And I grew up here. I went here like multiple times a year. It is my grandpa actually helped build it. It is a private runway hangar. Like, everyone that lives there has a hangar on their house, and everyone owns an airplane. So there were airplanes everywhere when I grew up. It was like a thing. So like we went up in this airplane all the time. It was a lot of fun. But you can look it up. Timmonsville, Air Acres. Like, I remember when they built it. It was one of my first memories. But yeah, it was good. It was good stuff. But so that was in South Carolina. I was born in Florence, so South Carolina. So I'm a Southern boy at heart. And then I stopped being that somewhere around the way. Anyway, Papa Gourd's here. There we go. You missed it, Papa Gourd. I opened your box first mistakenly because I forgot which was which. But I did open this up. I love it. I like my little bottles. I love these a lot. Thank you so much. And the Lego is cool too. Thank you. And then the little card and I don't want to pick them up right now because they're too far away. But the card and the cross stitch are great too. Anyways, this is Seth Pierce. There we go. There's like things and things here. First, we have a note. Back in February, did a live stream with Zach, Bots and Shot Zach, to be specific, since we have too many Zachs. That's a fact. When I started the Black Series Cantina, I had no idea that my second co-host name was also Zach, spelled the same way. So I just have a thing for Zachs, I guess. Having co-hosts named Zach, anyway. Anyways, I promised to send you both a mug. Well, here it is, 2 mugs, one for you and one for Bots and Shot Zach. They're both branded with the exciting and upcoming, eventually, sub-series of Mornings with Mike, because why not? Anyway, happy holidays, Seth, from Classic Gaming Brothers. That's a podcast I was on, and he's here. And if you guys want to go check that out, it's available on like pretty much any podcasting thing. He made me a mug with my channel logo on it, and I love it. It's one of my favorite mugs ever. And we're going to be doing our own little kind of sub podcast here called Mornings with Mike. Right there. So that's for the upcoming podcast that we are definitely going to be doing, but the release date is to be determined. I'm going to leave this other one here for Zach so he can have that as well. Zach, or Seth, wow. Seth, I love it. Thank you so much. Very, very nice. Black Series needs to do a box of the commanders at the table. I agree. Black Series needs to do more builder stuff. That's true. There is not a Black Series of Savage Opress. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, nothing is broken. Anyone that played the NES TMNT game has a Donnie admiration. That's a fact. Donnie was easy mode and the easiest way to beat Rocksteady for sure. That you just crouch and hit down. I mean, I don't know. I was like, when did that game come out? Like 90? I was 8. I figured that out. The Achilles, as far as I know, Gaming Greats is not shipping the Night Brother. I'm sorry, GameStop is not shipping the Night Brother yet. I got this from Papa Gourd, and he got it because Canada got them already. They got them before the US. Sometimes that happens. But it looks great. Absolutely love it. Cool. Well, that's the unboxings I had. I did get some Christmas presents I want to talk about. And I guess we could just talk. We could just gab. Keith Maxon wants to know what I thought of the Book of Fett. Yes, we will cover it in the podcast, but it's not that I can't have an opinion outside the podcast. There are a lot of figures I want from it. I liked it. I didn't like love it. But you know what? The first episode of The Mandalorian, I didn't necessarily love either. It's not like I didn't like it. It was fine. It was cool. It was fun to watch. But like I feel like that stuff kind of has to grow on you a little bit. And first episodes, it's always tough to make a decision and have a fully formed opinion on something like the first episode. Not impossible, it happens, but definitely not something that I feel like I can make a full judgment call on. But I definitely am looking forward to more of the Book of Fett. I did like the flashbacks. I liked seeing like some of the scenes. I don't know if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's only the first episode, so there's not really much to spoil. But kind of seeing him get out of the Sarlacc pit was cool. The only weird part was it's clearly Boba Fett like now. It's clearly his body now, where he's not as slim as he was back in Return of the Jedi days, in 83 or whatever. Well, it's not the same actor either. It's not Jeremy Bulloch, but it's weird. Try not to care about the fact that it's clearly a bigger guy doing that stuff. But it was cool seeing him burst out of the sand, escaping the Sarlacc. So for sure. DJ Ronan, this is a fact. If you need a Night Brother, make friends with a Canadian. This is true. So it's not always true, but it is true. There are many figures that Papa Gourd has gotten before me, and I've only gotten but I've gotten way early because Papa Gourd sent them to me. So for sure. Fabulous Disaster, hello, how you doing? It was a touch fan servicey, but I don't think that's a problem. Again, I'm enjoying it. As long as I'm enjoying it, that's really all I care about. I'm not expecting it to be the coolest thing I've ever seen, but as long as it's enjoyable, that's really all I need. Yeah, he really does. I mean, I've got a belly too, so I'm not hating on that at all. I'm just commenting that in 1983, that Boba Fett doesn't have a belly, and then suddenly Boba Fett has a belly, and it's supposed to be like the same Boba Fett. Again, it's a small nitpick. It's like I understand why. I understand what's going on. It's not that big of a deal. It's just something I'm pointing out. It could be. It took him a while to get out. I feel like they could edit someone slimmer. I mean, they could have gotten a body double and put a face over it, like Marvel did with Chris Evans. They had scrawny Chris Evans in the first part of Captain America. Linda, how you doing? Welcome to the party. Yes, it's always fun seeing Boba Fett again. I'm never going to complain about seeing Boba Fett. This is true. I'm only the third most dangerous man in the galaxy. And then it depends on what I've just eaten and how gassy I am. Yeah, Jason, absolutely. It would have been, and again, it's a small nitpick. In the end, it doesn't super matter. We all know what's going on. Like, we can just enjoy it. But it would have been cool if they could have used some sort of stand-in for the flashbacks. So let's talk about some other things. This is a big present I got right here. I got this big hefty Transformer right here. This is my first Planet X figure. Planet X is a third-party Transformer company, so it's not officially licensed. They usually do stuff from video games. They've done stuff from like Fall of Cybertron games. I've never had one before. This is their IDW though. Their take on IDW Grimlock, and I'm a little scared to transform him because he's I've watched videos on it and he's a little complicated. It was my goal to do it yesterday, but I want to take pictures before I do it, just in case I break anything, so I can have it in all its glory. But the thing I love about this is the T-Rex head, and I want to get this around here. So this, oops, that's okay. Look at this T-Rex head. Look at that. I absolutely spin these around here. This is why I got it. This one's going to stay in T-Rex mode. I love this head right here. Absolutely love it. So sometime today, my goal is to snap some pics of this and then transform it into its his T-Rex mode. It'll probably stay that way for a while. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it down so I can do it for a Bots and Shots episode, because we do have an episode where we're going to do T-Rexes specifically. It's gonna be called T-Rex. Oh, that's right. And he's got a sword. And he's got his blaster. He also came with red hands because the IDW version of this character has red hands instead of black ones. But I like the black. But just so you can see, he's big. This is the Studio Series Grimlock. So he's very big. He's also very heavy. He's got a lot of metal in him. So that's fun. And then this is the Gigapower Grimlock. So he's a little smaller. He's about the same size, I think, as the Fans Toys Grimlock, the Grindor or whatever. So the Gigapower one's a little bigger. But I like the aesthetics of this one a lot more. Like the Gigapower one looks more like the original kind of toy, which is cool. But I love the proportions of this. He's also got a lot more articulation. Like he's got a lot of chest waggle movement and stuff. Like you can do a lot of fun poses with him that you can't really do with other Transformers like that are this size. So I like it. I like so much about this. I'm definitely going to kind of mess around with this later today. It does kind of look like a Batman thing. You're absolutely right there. Let's see. What did I miss? So you're not sure that you covered, but the Twilight that worked for the mayor didn't work for me. It's fine. I didn't have anything against him. I'm interested to see where that's going to go. I thought it was weird there was a stormtrooper in the Starlight pit because there weren't any stormtroopers on Jabba's sail barge. So I wonder how long the stormtrooper's been down there and why. Matt Berry as a torture droid was, and they, if you look online, it's the droid has a different name, but if you watch it with subtitles on, because we do, it says 88. So Matt Berry is 88, and I think that's crazy. Like that threw me through a loop. I loved it. Lee, welcome. Hi, how you doing? Rolando, how's it going there? The transformation of the robo legs to tail. Take your time, watch a video. Yes, I'm not going to do that this year because there's a lot of things like that I definitely I want to make sure that I go slow. And I've got a couple videos I've watched. I'm not a big fan of MGO, but he usually does a pretty good step-by-step stuff. But I'm definitely gonna make sure that I take my time transforming it. And then and that's why I want to take some pictures of him like this first, because he's gonna stay in Dino mode for a while. Yeah, the T-Rex, you can look at pictures right now. The T-Rex is awesome. I also love Dinobots. They're my favorite. I've got a couple versions of them, and I can't not because I love them so much. It's really hard for me to choose. Like if I had to choose just some, I don't know who I'd be able to choose, to be honest. If you do them for bots and shots, I would say, yeah, no. We have a list of Transformers where they're bots we do before the alcohol hits. So like first rounders, like we'll do them, but only if we're pretty not drunk. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one. But I'll probably have to get a couple transformations under my belt before I do that. Adrian Williams, how you doing? He is a chunky dude, and I love him for that. Yeah, I think I got Super Raider. I think I ordered him on Christmas Day of 2020. No, 2019. He's not my favorite of the Gigapower Dinobots, but you have to have him to round out the team, you know? I feel like he's the one that for me that has the most quality control issues. Like I had to glue a couple things on here, and like his arms keep popping off, like not just out of the socket right here, but like the screw right here. I have to like tighten it up or whatever. And I'm not a big fan of his proportions. I think the chest here is too wide compared to his legs, but he's a big boy and his Dinobot looks good. And you need him to fill out the team. All right, let's see here. Going back here, Sam Witwer was the Rhodian prisoner. I did not know that. That's cool. Sam Witwer also, he was a guy. He was on the ship that they broke the Twi'lek out of in the first season of Mandalorian. He was the only guy with the face. So that's a fun thing too. Was that Sam Witwer? Is Sam Witwer the voice of Anakin, or is that the other guy? Or is that Darth Maul? I might be confusing him. Oh, it's Starkiller, so it's Darth Maul. Wait, was that right? I might be getting all this wrong. I know he is Starkiller, but I also feel like, yeah, he plays the voice of Darth Maul. That's what it is. So I didn't know that he was the Rhodian, but that's not the guy from the first season of Mandalorian. I was way off on that. I'm getting my facts all messed up. So that is what it is. Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a thing with the mayor there. I think it's going to come to a head, and I'm looking forward to that for sure. Yeah, I like to watch Mgo's. I turn all the music off. I turn the volume down all the way. I don't like Mgo. I'm not a fan of his style of videos. But his Just Transform It videos are nice walkthroughs. So I'll turn the volume down because I don't like his music either. And I'll watch it. Now if Mgo's watching this, I mean, cool. If you like Mgo, cool. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I don't have anything against him. Just not to my style or preference. Yeah, the Studio 86 sludge will be cool. They also, and one of the things that kind of put me over on these guys is they teased at BotCon or TFCon or whatever a sludge version of this, and I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. I love me a good Brontosaurus. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I figured it out, but yeah, he's Maul. Oh, dude, Sam Wilbur's been a lot of stuff. That's fun. And yeah, right. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez. I mean, that's cool. Oh, let's see. What else do I got? I got a lot of stuff. I got a couple Power Rangers. While I was gone, they came in the mail. Spinister is probably the best Siege figure for sure. I agree with that. I don't know if he's my favorite War for Cybertron trilogy figure, but he is, I think, one of the better Siege figures for sure. I got the two of the A Squad from Power Rangers SPD. I've never seen Power Rangers SPD. I have no idea who any of these people are. I just like the look of their armor. I've got, I think, blue and yellow over there. So now I've got green and red to fill it out. I'm going to pop these open later. I'm not going to pop them open now. But that's fun. I don't know what color I'm missing. Did watching the episode make the price on the deluxe Boba Fett more palatable? No, not really. But at the same time, I mean, like, here's the way I see it. Here's the way I see prices on Black Series figures. The Black Series started in 2013. They've roughly been $20 since 2013. With inflation, which goes up every year. Let's look at the inflation calculator. So we'll put in 2013 and 2021, and we'll say 1999. Okay. So in 2013, $20 equals to $23.85 today. So for the last 8 years, the price of this figure should have gone up by about $4. And they haven't. The Hasbro's kept the prices at $19.99. So with inflation, they've been losing money on this. While it's not fun paying more, I understand that the price of everything goes up every year. Inflation's a thing. Plus, with the prices of everything else going on, if they have to charge more for some figures to offset the cost of others or whatever, I'm just expecting prices to go up. Like, it sucks. I don't think it has to be deluxe. I think that's a weird choice. But, I mean, Captain Rex from Walmart was a $30 figure, and he wasn't a deluxe. And people bought him anyway. I know I did. I don't think it's the price that's the issue. I think it's the perceived devaluing of what it means to be a deluxe. Because up until recently, deluxe figures had more stuff or they were bigger. Like the Boba Fett it wasn't bigger, but he had a lot of accessories. Jar Jar didn't have a ton of accessories, but he was pretty big. Same thing with Wrecker he's a little bigger. He was harder to justify. And then what was the other one? Zeb. Zeb was a deluxe figure, and he's a big guy. So like I get them being deluxes. Boba Fett doesn't seem to really have a reason. Honestly, if they kept him deluxe and just charged $30 for him, I think it would weirdly enough go over better than making him a deluxe figure and saying he's a deluxe price point because he's a deluxe figure when you're not getting anything out of it. I think that's the problem that a lot of people really have with it. And I think if they wanted to charge $30 for it, they should just charge $30 for it, or $25 for figures or whatever. Like charge what they need to make the figures viable, because they're a business. They've got to make money. Like, I get that. That's how capitalism and consumerism works. They're not doing this as a charity. They're doing this to make money. And I'm here to pay for it for a reasonable price, to put it in my collection, because I am a collector. I am going to consume these things. So if Hasbro says, hey, if you want this Boba Fett, he's going to cost $30 to make him, fine. I'll pay $30 because I want that Boba Fett in my collection. Making him a deluxe figure just to justify that is weird. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to pay $30 for that Boba Fett, because I've paid more for less. There isn't really a reason for him to be the $30 price point. And I think making him deluxe to justify that was a weird choice. So that's kind of my thought on that. But great question. Let's see. Matt says, I know you're going to TFCon LA. Yes, I am. Did you hear BotCon is going to be in Nashville this year? Bro, I'm so psyched because I've never had a BotCon so close to me. That's cool. I did not know that. My first Transformers convention was BotCon up in Pasadena. That was a lot of fun. Zach and I went, and I bought my first third-party Transformer there. I bought the Make Toys Devastator back when the height of that Devastator felt big, and now it's tiny, and I've sold it a long time ago. Do I have the Mall Apprentice figure? Yes, I do. I have that figure. The price isn't so bad. It's the expectation deluxe label. That's exactly what I was trying to articulate there. It's the price is whatever. It's $30 for Boba Fett. It's the saying it's a deluxe and not getting a deluxe amount of stuff for it. That's really the problem. Yeah. Well, Jar Jar didn't sell well. I really wish they hadn't made him deluxe. If they could have squeezed him in a regular thing without the shield, it would have been a lot better. That being said, I really did want a Jar Jar. Like, I really did. I'm glad I got a Jar Jar. Like, he's a good figure, which is weird to say, because if you'd asked me, like, 10 years ago, I would never buy a Jar Jar figure. Jar Jar wasn't cool. Jar Jar, I don't know. Somewhere at some point I came around to Jar Jar, which is weird. There have been a lot of Boba Fett's recently. That's a fact. Crazy 8 360. How you doing? If Hasbro keeps hiking the price up, when will you hold out? That's a good question. For me, it's going to be comparable to, I guess, that line, because like I just showed with the inflation calculator, if figures are averaging around the $22, $23, $24, like sometimes they'll be a little higher for whatever reason, but if for the most part they stick around that $23 price point, it's the same as buying a $20 figure in 2013. Like, it's not different. The value of that money is the same because of inflation. So as long as it doesn't get a hand like that, it'll probably be a while until I feel like they're too expensive. Like I said, I don't mind the odd expensive figure. Like the for whatever reason, the Walmart exclusive Rex, the Captain Rex from Bad Batch, was a $30 figure. He wasn't deluxe. He was just $30. I didn't even think he was that good of a figure. I think it was pretty bad, but a lot of people liked him. A lot of people bought him. But if price keeps going up, as long as it doesn't go up too fast, as long as it sticks with inflation, I'll be okay with the price. What is that huge thing on your left third shelf up? On my left? Wait a minute. Which way is my left? Third shelf. Is it this? This right here? Is that what you're talking about? If this is what you're talking about, this is my is my Mythic Legions Arethyr and Aegon. It's a horse and a demon guy. I've got pictures of it on my Instagram. I posted them like a month ago or so. Matt, that's a fact. And what's weird is there has been a weird revisionist history I've seen recently where because the prequels are more loved now than they were back in the early thousands when they came out. The prequels were highly, I want to say reviled. People sent Jake Lloyd, they harassed him. They sent Ahmed Best death threats. You know, both these people either they quit acting, they contemplated suicide. People were shitty to both of those actors because they didn't like the characters they played, which is dumb. And we saw the same thing more recently with we're seeing it a little bit with you know Finn. We're seeing it with Daisy Ridley. We're seeing it a lot with Kelly Marie Tran, where like she just deleted her whole profile. Like people harassing actual actors because they didn't like their characters in a movie. Like that's just so bizarre to me. I don't understand the thought process. I don't think there is a thought process. I don't understand the rationale. These people are just dumb. I just don't get it. Like if you don't have to like it, but like harassing actors, that's stupid. But there are a lot of people here I've seen recently saying that never happened. Like it wasn't that bad. That people never really disliked the prequels, which is a blatant disregard for actual history. The prequel hate was real. I know because I was part of it. Like it was a thing. It wasn't cool to like the prequels up until I would say the Clone Wars. It wasn't until like 2012 or 2013 when the Clone Wars was airing on TV and we're in like season 3 and season 4 that it kind of turned people's opinions positively towards the prequels. That and kids who grew up with the prequels started getting more towards the adult, you know, early 20s age. And they've always liked the prequels. So to them, the prequels were just a thing you could like because all their friends liked it. So it's just one of those things that the general opinion has mostly changed on the prequel era. Maybe not the prequel movies, but the prequel era. And then the people that actually like the prequels because they grew up with that Star Wars are older now and they can voice their opinions on social media better. So it's become more of an accepted thing to like the prequels. But there was a time in between 1999 and like 2012, 2013, where the prequels were pretty universally and heavily disliked as much as the sequels trilogy for the most part. And I firmly believe that in another 10, 15 years, the same thing that happened with the prequels is going to happen in the sequels. The kids that this is their Star Wars, they grew up watching the, you know, the sequels were their first experience with Star Wars. They're going to grow up and they're going to love the sequels and it'll be cooler to like the sequels. I like the sequels. I don't know. I'm not going to defend my like of the sequels, but I think it's just a weird, like it's a weird thing that society kind of goes through cycles about what to like and what not to like. And then when it's widely accepted to be okay to like it, people forget that there was a time where it wasn't okay to like it. Like Lucas tried so hard to get someone else to direct the Phantom. I heard that. I also I think it's very obvious that he wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Anakin Skywalker because Jake Lloyd is like a spitting image of a young Leo DiCaprio. It doesn't really look anything like Hayden Christensen for sure. Keith Maxon's best friend is friends with Ray Park, and he said that he had death threats for killing off Maul. Like it was his choice to do that. That's so funny. That's so funny. I actually got into a conversation yesterday about someone asked on some Reddit forum group I'm on about what people thought about bringing back Captain Phasma, and someone's response was Captain Phasma's dead, end of story. And my response to that was, I remember a good chunk of time where Darth Maul was dead, end of story, and somehow Darth Maul returned. Like he was cut down, he was cut in half and dropped down an impossibly long shaft. Like there's no way he should survive. I don't care how much you hate someone. I don't care how powerful a Sith you are. You get cut in half and drop down a really long like shaft. You're not living through that. And it's funny to me that, to my knowledge, they've still never really explained it. We saw him on Naboo, cut in half, falling down a shaft, and then season 4 of Clone Wars, he's on some random planet and he's half robot spider. How did he get there? No one's explained that. You just accept it and you move on. It's Star Wars. It's fun. It's fantasy. It's not even science fiction. It's fantasy. There's wizards. There's princesses. There's knights. This is a fantasy story. You can't take it too seriously. People can be terrible. It's a fact. And yeah, it went way too far for sure. People hated Phantom Menace because there was no action. People didn't know there was peace in the galaxy. They just wanted pure action. I think that's part of it. I think part of it is the acting. Part of it is the focus on political intrigue story, which I did not care for when I was a junior in high school when that came out. But now, as I get older, like those storylines interest me more. But for sure, I think that's definitely part of it. Yes. I've heard that story as well, that Jake Lloyd was beat up in high school because of his portrayal of Anakin, or at least bullied really, really hard. Yeah, it was cool to hate on Jar Jar. I'll be honest. When he first came out, I was a sophomore, junior in high school. I think I just said that. I like Jar Jar. I would say Okie Day a lot. I would do a Jar Jar voice. I actually like Jar Jar, but I couldn't publicly say that because my friends would make fun of me. So I had to pretend to not like him. And at some point, my pretending of not liking him transferred into actually not liking him. Like I convinced myself that I didn't like him, despite the fact that I actually did like him when he first came out. I did. So it's weird how your brain can kind of do stuff like that for you. So if we got a Pong Krell figure, will it be a super deluxe figure? I think it would just be a deluxe figure, but however they do it, that was my number one figure that I wanted in 2021 that we didn't get. So I don't care how they do it. I would pay upwards of like $40 if they did a Pong Krell figure. I really would. Apprentice Ewok, how you doing, buddy? As a kid, he grew up with the prequels, and he could definitely say people hated them. I got bullied out of enjoying Star Wars for around 10 years until The Force Awakens came out. Absolutely. It was a thing. And if you liked it, and it's the same thing about liking the sequel series now. Well, I would say it's less now, but around 2017, 2018, if you were one of the people that liked The Last Jedi, you weren't a real fan. You got harassed endlessly. And I did. There was a point where I didn't even want to say in public that I liked Star Wars because it would turn into like a weird discussion that I didn't want to be part of. Like, let people like things. That's it. Liking something isn't the same thing as disliking something. Let people like things without the constantly having to assert that you didn't like it. Like, it's fine if you didn't like it, but it does taint whenever you hear negative stuff about something you like. it taints it a little bit for you. Not that it can change your opinion, but like it's like enjoying a nice sunny day outside and suddenly there's a cloud there. Like it's less good because there's a cloud hanging out right there because someone had to be a little negative Nancy person. So I just let people like things. Don't because you hear someone say something positive, don't automatically feel like you have to say something negative to even it out or to express your opinion. You can still have the opinion, but like unless you're having a discussion about it, just let people like things. Thanks, Apprentice Ewok. That's what I said. Phasma can come back as some crazy cyborg. Like she fell down a shaft into an explosion. Let her come back as a half robot spider too. Why not? I tried looking it up. I couldn't find it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I couldn't find, at least not in canon, not in current canon anyway. Palpatine also fell down a shaft. The shaft doesn't seem to be the end of bad guys. Well, it's not even really sci-fi. It's fantasy. It's 100% fantasy. I mean, it's obviously based in space, but it's just because something's based in space doesn't make it science fiction. It's a science fantasy. Oh, I love the pod race, and I love the pod racing game. I had episode 1 pod racer on my N64, and I did the thing where you could plug in 2 controllers, and you could use each one as the engine stick. It was great. I remember listening to the radio. Some guy called and said there were 2 Darth Mauls because in one scene his face paint was different. As weird. Agreed. And I will always say this. The soundtrack for the prequels, probably some of the best music John Williams has ever made. Absolutely. Sword in the Storm, when Return of the Jedi came out, I love the Ewoks. Yes. Again, that's another one of those things. Like if you were the right person, if you were the right age, like I was a kid when the Ewoks came out. I love the Ewoks. I was never at a point where like, oh, the Ewoks are stupid. I love the Ewoks. I don't care. They're fun little teddy bears that I just want to pick up and squeeze. Also, they're terrifying because they eat people. Do I think the price of the Rancor was justified? Yeah, I've said this many times. I do. I think the Rancor is a different animal. Pun not intended. I have a lot of reasons why I think the Rancor price was justified. I wish they had pushed the backers out maybe an extra couple thousand to lower the price a little bit. I think a $300 price point would have been better, but I don't think for what it was and what they were asking, I don't think a $350 price point was outrageous. I was in on that price before they released any tiers. I didn't care about the tiers. I just wanted the Rancor. The author of the Phasma, that's where that came up. It was the author of the Phasma book said that she wanted to write about Phasma after The Last Jedi. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of good things about the Phasma book. It's a really cool look at like where she came from and stuff like that. Agreed. It's like they're subconsciously trying like, hey, I don't like this, and I want you to validate me not liking it. So I'm gonna low key try to convince you about why you should also not like it. It's just that old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say about something, just don't say anything at all. Like you can still not like it. You don't have to like it, but like you don't have to rain on other people's parade just because you don't like something. If you don't see a Bonnie, then they're not dead. That's a good rule. That's in comics. It's in pretty much any fiction. Felix, Happy New Year. I'm going to talk a lot about shafts. I majored in shafts in college. So, hey, Mr. Lurch, Merry Christmas to you. Hope you have a good new year as well. Thanks for hanging out. I did the same thing, Jason. I went into all 3 prequels movies knowing exactly what was going to happen because they released the book like a week or so before the movies came out, and I read every one. I remember I'd also have the soundtrack playing, and I'd read the book at the same time. So I'd read while the soundtrack's going, and I loved every second of it. I also remember there were a bunch of like because the novels were written based on earlier versions of the scripts. So the novels had extra scenes that the movies didn't have because they were usually like cut scenes that didn't make it in. Yeah, those Ewoks definitely ate the stormtroopers, 100%. Agreed. And let's say so one of those things. I think something that's lost on a lot of people now is it's okay to critique something. It's okay to give constructive criticism. It's okay to not like every aspect of something, but still like it. There are a lot of movies out there that I will even say this is a bad movie, but I still enjoy it. It still has things about it that I like. It doesn't have to be a good. Something being good and something being enjoyable are 2 different things. Or they're not necessarily the same thing, I should say. They can be different. There are a lot of good things that I don't like. Citizen Kane? I tried watching Citizen Kane. That movie's boring. It's one of the best, reviewed and made movies ever. There are classes on how great and perfect it is. Super boring. Can't get into it. Don't really like it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't like it. But there's a lot of good things. There's a lot of bad things that are bad. I'm like, this is terrible, but I love them, despite how bad they are. So it's okay to like things and acknowledge that they're not good, and it's also okay to say that there are some good things about things that you don't necessarily like. The world's not black and white. There's a lot of gray in that area. Oh, you don't have to do that. I think just liking the video, if you're watching this, just hitting the like button is good enough. That's super nice. Yes, Sword in the Storm, we're 100% doing a Bots and Shots Best Figs of 2021. Zach and I will be recording that probably next week or 2. I'm just talking. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm just talking about Shaft. You can dig it. Michael Petrino, Happy New Year. I always love watching your videos and the podcast. It's such a fun listen. I'm so glad you like it. What do I do for a day job to afford all these goodies? That's a good question. It recently, it changed in 2021. For me, 2021 was a great year. I worked for Apple for like 14 years. And recently I got a job creating educational video content for an e-commerce company. So that's what I do. Yes, the soundtrack. I definitely remember picking up the back of the episode 1 soundtrack, and one of the tracks is Qui-Gon Dies. Like they could have named it almost anything else, but they named the soundtrack Qui-Gon Dies. Thanks, George. Yeah, it was the death of Qui-Gon. That was it. Death of Qui-Gon. Yeah, the fight between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Dooku in Revenge of the Sith was cool because it had a lot of fun like subterfuge where like they switched their lightsaber fighting styles to throw Count Dooku off. Like I remember that being really cool reading about in the books. I don't think they've addressed who is responsible for it. They did address that it was a mix-up. I don't think they fixed it on the box, but I'm hoping they fix it because if they fix it, if they release a Carnor Jax in a Kir Kanos box, then you can just swap them. You just swap the figures in the boxes and everything's good. I mean, I don't want to say it's stupid. I definitely think it's boring, but it's also, critically one of the greatest movies ever made. for many reasons. There are people that dedicate their lives to talking about how great this movie is, and I don't have the ability, I don't have the knowledge to counter them on any of those reasons, and I'm not going to. All I can say is I've sat down, I've tried to watch it, I couldn't get into it. I found it to be very boring, and that's just me. Fun story about this. I think I saw episode 2 in theaters. Man, the first week it came out, I think I saw it 5 times in theaters. The second or third time, so I saw it midnight, and then the day after it came out, one of my best friends growing up, his name was Brad. He came in to visit me from out of state, and this was back in 2002. He had one of the very first digital cameras, like they were popular ever. And we were hanging out, running around, Southern California, taking photos of stuff. And we go see Attack of the Clones again in theaters, and he whips it out. It's weird saying that. And he records just that little snippet. Oh, just the little fight of Yoda. And then he puts it away as soon as he's done. And we exit the theater when the movie ends. And the manager comes over to us and he says, "Were you recording this movie?" And my friend's like, "No." And he's like, "Let me see your camera." And again, this is 2002, so technology is not the same. All cameras couldn't do both. It was, you either had a video camera or a photo camera. So having both wasn't really a thing back then. So he showed him pictures of stuff we took. He's like, "It's just a photo camera. We're just taking photos." And he's like, "Well, you shouldn't bring cameras to the theater no matter what." And it's like, "Okay, I won't do that again." But then we got home and we could kind of just rewatch that little snippet of Yoda fighting. And it was really scary there for a second, but we got away with it because, again, cameras weren't as prevalent as they are now. People didn't have cell phones with cameras in them. Oh, it's all good. You could jump in anytime. You reckon the prequels have actually aged really well? I don't know if I would say the prequels have aged well. I think what's happened is the people that have liked them haven't stopped liking them. And their story has been fleshed out. And that has helped people appreciate them more. Because I know I was in that camp. I didn't really like the prequels as a whole. Like Revenge of the Sith was good. I'll say that. But it wasn't perfect. It had its issues. It still does. Those issues, the wooden dialogue, the wooden dialogue, the stilted love story, all of that stuff isn't good now. It's been memed into being good, but it's good because of the memes, not because it's good in itself. You know what I'm saying? But it's had the advantage of having a lot of time. And like I said, the Clone Wars went a long way to fleshing out a lot of that stuff and putting things into that prequel era that you really liked. Because now when I'm watching Obi-Wan, I'm not just watching the prequels movie trilogy Obi-Wan. I'm also watching it in the context of the Clone Wars Obi-Wan and the Clone Wars Anakin, and seeing all those stories and getting more time with those characters makes me like them in the prequel trilogy more because they've been fleshed out like that. And I really do think the sequel trilogy needs something similar. I think it needs something to kind of flesh a lot of that stuff out to get people to give it the same kind of appreciation, I guess. Same. I like the prequels. I went. Episode 1 was great. I watched it 10 times in the theaters, but as I got older, it started to go down. Then episode 2 came out, and it started to go down. And then episode 3 came out, and there was just a point where it's like, I don't know. It just, like, I liked it because it was Star Wars, but I didn't think it was very good. Again, you can do that. You can separate them and like them because they're something, but acknowledge the fact that they're not perfect movies. They've got a lot of flaws in them. But I like them now. I like the prequel trilogy now. It's not my go-to. I wouldn't sit down and watch Attack of the Clones over most of the other movies. It's probably, I think Attack of the Clones is at the bottom of my list. But it's got a lot of good moments. And if I'm watching a watch through, like, I'm not going to skip it. The upcoming deluxe Boba Fett from Book of Boba doesn't have the same costume as he does in the show. He has the regular black pants in the show. Yeah, it's really weird how they I don't know what's up with that. It's the Tython Boba. It's the re-armored Boba from the Mandalorian. I'm gonna get deeper into that when it comes out. I'm not really going to dive into all the inaccuracies now, because until you have it in hand, it can, like, things can always change. But you're right about that for sure. I've never read Cult of Dracula. No. That's why you like Roadhouse. Yeah, it's crappy good. There are movies that you could say this is crappy, but it's good. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Absolutely, Mr. Lurch. And as a person who likes the sequels, even I still don't think they're flawless. I'm not saying it's a perfect trilogy. It definitely has its struggles, and I definitely think Lucasfilm went about creating them the wrong way. I think they went around creating them the wrong way for now. They created them the same way they created the original trilogy, and they created them the same way they created the prequel trilogy, in the sense that they wrote the movies as they went. Like, I don't care what you say, George Lucas, what we got with the original trilogy isn't the same story that George Lucas wrote. The story changed between the movies. People, relationships changed, names changed. The name Utapau was all over the place in the original trilogy, and then they got pushed. They changed it, and they originally put it, and then they put it in the prequel trilogy in Episode 3 as a throwaway name. People, and I used to think this too. People think that George Lucas had some grand plan for Star Wars, and he knew where the story was going to go, and he had a story he wanted to tell. That's not true. He went on it on a case-by-case basis. He wrote the movies as they went into it. He had maybe a kind of a loose thought, but again, that changed a lot in between movies, and where it ended up wasn't the original place that he had originally written it. You can get snippets of this. The Star Wars, they adapted the original screenplay that George Lucas wrote as a comic book called The Star Wars, and it's completely different from what we got in there. So it's interesting to see that, but they did the same thing with the prequel trilogy, where, like, they wrote Episode 1, then they wrote Episode 2, then they wrote Episode 3. They didn't have it really all planned out. They wrote them as they went, and there were changes along the way. The way the story unfolded and took place wasn't the same as it originally intended. And the same thing with the sequel trilogy. I think the problem there is storytelling and movie presentation has changed since the 70s and 80s and since the early thousands. And they really should have had a solidified story that they were gonna create, and then film that. So we had one unified story. I think that would have really helped things. And I think that did hurt a lot of it caused a lot of the problems that the prequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy, I should say, had. So yeah, even someone like me who loves the sequel trilogy, Last Jedi is my second favorite Star Wars movie. Lots of flaws, and I will fully acknowledge that it has lots of flaws. It's just that, to me, none of those flaws take away my enjoyment of what I'm seeing. I think The Last Jedi is one of the most visually gorgeous movies in the entire Star Wars mythos. Like, it's absolutely beautiful to watch. I like a lot of the characters. I like a lot of story beats. It's basically Empire Strikes Back, but in reverse. I think that's neat. Rian Johnson's one of the best directors ever. Like, any of his other movies, Knives Out, any of the TV shows he's directed, all great, fantastic movies. So I don't know. Like, I think it's great. Yeah, it was like Princess Bride. Yeah, when they were switching up the styles to take them apart. Yep. Do I collect any lightsabers? The only lightsaber I have is the Disneyland one from Savvy's Workshop, the one that you can make yourself. That's it. If I could choose to have one in my collection, I would probably choose either the Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Rey, classic lightsaber, or the dark saber. Excuse me, like one of those. Yeah, and Keith, I think that could be a problem, but I think a lot of the other things is Star Wars is like poetry. George Lucas said that. It rhymes. So a lot of those story beats being redone, I don't think is necessarily outside the realm of what Star Wars does. So I don't really have a problem with it personally. I'm right there with you, man. Godfather. I tried to sit down and watch The Godfather too. It is boring. It is a slog to get through. I do not like it. But again, Godfather is one of those movies that everyone friggin' loves. All right, coming down here. I like some of the prequels, but when it came to that two-headed pod race announcer, I was like, what the fuck moment in Star Wars? I disagree. I don't think it's not Star Wars. I mean, it's in Star Wars, so it by definition is Star Wars. It's a fantastical alien. I think it fit the vibe of that whole scene. I don't know. It didn't seem out of place to me when I watched it when I was 17 when that came out. Hey, Vlenhoff, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Happy New Year. Happy New Year's from Huntsville, Alabama. I went to Huntsville when I was in 5th grade. I went to space camp there. Like it was like a school field trip. It wasn't like a cool week-long thing, but that was a lot of fun. What I can't stand is some retro YouTubers who seem to make a bad habit of blasting all things that aren't vintage Star Wars. I 1000% agree with that. I think there are a lot of people who put too much emphasis and value on the way things have been and the way things are for them growing up, and can't see the value of things being updated, things being new, and things being changed. And I think those people, while it's perfectly fine for them to enjoy and prefer retro stuff, that stuff isn't being taken away. No one went back and destroyed their Han Solo 1978 Han Solo sitting on their shelf. They didn't erase their Star Wars VHS tapes. They didn't burn their Legends books from the shelves. Like that stuff still exists. But I think automatically hating new stuff just because it's new is a bad outlook on life. So I completely agree with you on that, Mr. Lurch. Godfather's Pizza was great. Sucks that Herman Cain died of COVID and, didn't think that COVID was a big deal. And that's as far as I'll get into that. Man, you guys are right there along with me, man. Blade Runner was another one of those. I still haven't watched the new Blade Runner movie, the Blade Runner 2049 or whatever. But when I had no idea Blade Runner was a thing until I was in my 20s. Like, I didn't know it was a movie that existed. I was like, Harrison Ford? You're telling me Han Solo was in a sci-fi movie in like 1982? And I hadn't heard of it, and I tried to sit down and watch it. Man, I don't know if I just wasn't in the right headspace or what. I couldn't. I just couldn't. It was very boring. But that being said, if I hadn't grown up on Star Wars, like the original Star Wars movie, I also would probably think that was boring too, because while it's very nostalgic for me, it is also a slog to get through. You don't even meet Luke Skywalker until like 20 minutes into the movie. Like a third of the, well, not a third of the movie, but a good chunk of the movie is over, and you only just meet the protagonist of the movie. You know, like it's not a very fast movie. That was just the style of movie back then. And I think that says a lot about us as a society now, where we can't appreciate slower things. We have to be entertained more. We have to have things faster. I genuinely think that if I didn't grow up loving Star Wars, I don't know if I would love it as much if it were the same movie that came out now, because of how slow it was. Would I like to see Black Series have a piece of a big character? No. I think Build-A-Figures work really well with Marvel Legends for a couple reasons. Marvel Legends figures are largely just the same figure released over and over again with slight changes to like the head sculpt and maybe some flavor pieces added to them. But I mean, I could point to my Marvel Legends shelf down here, and most of they're bucks. They start with a buck that fits that character size. They give it a paint job. They add a couple accessories, like little like belts or whatever to it. They change the head, and that's the figure. They move on. They can produce those so cheaply, and there's so many characters that they can do. I think Build-A-Figure pieces make sense for Marvel specifically. I don't think it makes sense for Star Wars. I really don't. I enjoy the media that goes on around the prequel area, and the Clone Wars really filled it out. Completely agree. Completely agree. Everyone's saying Blade Runner is really boring. I agree. Rogue One, best Star Wars movie era. I don't agree it's the best one, but I do think it's a really good one. I really do like Rogue One. Ionicus never had a problem with the prequels. That's cool. I'm glad. And don't let me change your opinion. If you love the prequels and never had a problem with the prequels, continue loving the prequels to the same degree, if not more. All the more power to you. Yeah, when Blade Runner 2 came out, I didn't have the same level of disdain for Jared Leto that I do now. But I think that's one of the big reasons why I never went back and watched Blade Runner 2 was because of Jared Leto. That's true. We haven't had a single figure from the Revenge of the Sith. We only just got A New Hope, which is, arguably it's the first Star Wars movie. I think that was a bigger deal for me, but I think you're right. Now that we've had A New Hope, we definitely need Revenge of the Sith. But is that true? Yeah, I don't think we have. I'm trying to think of it now. I don't think we have had a Revenge of the Sith yet. I think that's not true. I think the 212th Walgreens figure is from Revenge of the Sith. Walgreens Black Series. Whenever that comes out. Oh, it's from Clone Wars. Never mind. That's from Clone Wars. Should have been Revenge of the Sith. I don't know why it's not, but yeah, it's Clone Wars. You're right. I'm curious to see what color they'll make the little bar for it. Sword in the Storm, you can if you go on Etsy and look it up. For Christmas, I got my dad the 4K 77 and 4K 83. I mean, you can download them; they exist. People have gone back to original film footage and restored the original cuts of Star Wars and Return of the Jedi in 4K. I bought them from an Etsy shop for my dad for Christmas on Blu-ray, so that he could just, because he's not really into like playing movies on his computer. So I bought it. Someone burned it to a disc and made a really nice like Blu-ray clamshell with really high quality like prints and stuff. Like it's all really nice looking. It was like $30 from the UK, so it was like $20 shipping or whatever. $30 shipping, and then he can just pop them in and watch them. So I think you can. It's not official. but you can, if you know where to look, get the OG cut of Star Wars for sure. Would love to get a pre-Cyborg Grievous in the Black Series at some point. Rogue One is probably my top 5. I think Rogue One's probably my top 5. Lucas was the worst and best thing about Star Wars. I agree with that. I definitely think Lucas's problem, if I had to give him any critiques, was when he was doing the prequels, he didn't have enough people to tell him no. I think he was kind of probably surrounded with yes men, and there was this aura of George Lucas could do nothing wrong. I mean, it's widely known the only original trilogy movie he directed was the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope. And the only reason that movie is good is because of the editing, because there were a lot of scenes that were edited out. There were a lot of things that were cut and recut and re-edited to make it a watchable movie. And if it had released his original edit without those cuts that I believe his wife made, it wouldn't have been the movie that it is now. So I definitely think, and he didn't direct Empire and he didn't direct Return of the Jedi. So I think that says a lot for how timeless the original trilogy has become. All right, let's go down. Mike, what are some of your most rewatchable TV shows? Oh man, I have watched The Office from start to finish. I even watched Scott's Tots. I've watched that show more than I care to admit. I also throw in Parks and Rec on there. It's like The Office and Parks and Rec right there. The Good Place, also really good. Community, also really good. I'm trying to think. Weirdly enough, I didn't like it for a long time, but my wife made me watch it, and I really like it now. New Girl. That's rewatchable. It's something you can put on in the background and kind of forget about, which is what I look for in a rewatchable show. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And probably What We Do in the Shadows. There's Transformers fans that despise the new shows and toys, but praise the vintage. Yeah, Ionicus, and that's one of those weird things for me. I'm gonna see how far back. I'm about 7 minutes back here in comments. Just so everyone knows, I'm behind in comments, but I'm working my way up. I don't get it. I was born in 82. Transformer is arguably, it's all a blur when I was a kid, like when I was very young. Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man are all a weird amorphous blob of my earliest memories. I like them. I had figures of them all. I don't remember what came first or how long or when, because I was 2, 3 when they came out or whatever. I loved the original Optimus Prime. It was one of my favorite toys. I had it. I had the G2 version for a while. Those G1 figures have a certain amount of charm to them, but as toys, as figures in a modern sense, they have not aged well. Their transformations are kind of boring now. Their articulation is practically non-existent. They didn't look hardly anything like they looked in the cartoon, which for me was way more important than anything else. Because for me, the cartoon was the medium. Like, you watched the cartoon and you bought the toys because they were in the cartoon. I was that age. So the fact that my Optimus Prime in my hand, or Ironhide, or anyone like that, like, this doesn't look anything like I got up there. And now here we are, 2021, 2022. Now I've got Earthrise Optimus Prime that is loads better than that original G1. It transforms into the same truck. It's got great articulation, looks loads better. I mean, it's hands down in every way better and how it looks, how it transforms, how it moves. It can actually hold its gun in its hand, unlike the original Transformers G1 Optimus Prime. Couldn't even hold it straight because it was molded weird, and you had to put it off at a weird curve. Like I'm not saying you can't like those things. Again, they have that charm, but like comparatively speaking, they're the new stuff is better. It just is. I have never even bothered trying to watch 2001 ever. Also, man, you got. I feel like I'm being validated right now. I don't like Tron either. I really don't. I do not like Tron. I didn't even like it. I thought I'd like it, in the newer Tron movie that came out, what 2008 or whatever. I couldn't get into it. I tried, couldn't get into it. I agree. That's a fun way of the new storytelling is you're building those layers 100%. I know that's the other problem is there's like 100 versions of that movie. Which version should I watch? I'll give it another 1/6 shooter. I'll give it another go, man. You tell me what version to watch, and I will sit down and I'll watch Blade Runner again. Solo is 100% underrated. Again, I agree. It's not the best Star Wars movie, but it's a fun Star Wars movie. And there are a lot of great characters. There's a lot of great aliens, and there's a lot of great scenes in it. Sword in the Storm, 100%. Got it right there. And I definitely agree with this. It came out at the wrong time. Star Wars, even for someone who loves Star Wars a lot, and I liked the sequel trilogy movies, getting a movie every year, it sort of cheapened Star Wars. Like, the original movies came out 3 years apart, 77, 80, 83. And then between 83, you had a couple of the Droids cartoons and the Ewoks cartoons, but like there was nothing. And then into the early mid thousands when they started doing books, that's when I got into Star Wars again. It was I started, the EU books, I had the VHS tapes. Like that was my era of my introduction to Star Wars. And then, going into the special editions in 97 and the prequel trilogy starting in 99, it opened up a whole new era of Star Wars. But even then, everything was very spaced out. The same thing with the prequel trilogy, 99, 2002, 2005. There was 3 years in between those movies. And then Lucasfilm, Disney, all those guys. I mean, I hesitate to say Disney because it's still Lucasfilm. Like Lucasfilm is still in charge of Star Wars. That's just a fact. They're just owned by Disney now, but Lucasfilm's still in charge of Star Wars. But then they want to just churn out Star Wars. And it was fun at first, but after a little bit, getting a new Force Friday every year for new things coming out for the new Star Wars movie, it sort of cheapened that thrill of a new Star Wars. 2015 with The Force Awakens was huge because it had been so long since we had anything Star Wars. And then Rogue One, still cool, but a little bit less. And then Last Jedi, again, I loved it, but getting Star Wars after Star Wars after Star Wars just sort of cheapened it a little bit. So I'm glad that they're spreading it out. I'm glad that they're back to kind of spacing it. I'm glad that we got a little bit of a stretch and pause in between movies. I think the TV shows aren't quite the same as the movies in terms of like the spectacle. So I don't mind that we're getting multiples of a year from that because it doesn't feel on the same level as like a movie. It doesn't have that grandeur that a movie has, if that makes sense. ASCII Star Wars is a classic, 100%. Ian, you're not wrong about that either, man. The worst and best thing about Star Wars are the fans. That I 1,000% agree with. Uh, yes, George Lucas executive produced and helped write 5 and 6. But he didn't direct it. That was just kind of my point there. Yes, American Graffiti was definitely an era piece. THX 1138, also not a great movie. I mean, if you've ever tried to watch it, it's really hard to watch. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is really good. I will say the quality kind of dips once it moves from like Fox to NBC, but it's still very watchable. It's still very enjoyable. That is a great question, Hayeks. From I don't know the definitive answer. From what I understand, Lucasfilm doesn't like body parts in the packages. That's why we don't have a lot of alternate heads. That's why we don't have a lot of alternate hands. We do have some, and they usually, if you look at the packages, they're usually hidden underneath like stuff. Like Padme came with an extra hand, but it was hidden underneath, like off to the side, so you couldn't see it in the package. So yeah, I agree. Jenna Fisher was a big crush of mine from The Office. I'm actually currently listening to the Office Girls podcast, Office Ladies podcast. It's very, very good. I have not seen Wellington Paranormal. It's on my list of things that I should watch. TK6287, Happy New Year to you as well. How long did it take me to get bored of that? So here's the thing. Of just opening it up from the box, like 40 minutes. What you saw, if you watched the the Christmas Day video I posted about playing with the RoboSen Optimus Prime, that was the length of time. Like that was literally, other than charging it, I took it out of the box to charge it, but like playing it there on the table was 100% my first react. Hi, Kitty. Was my first reaction to everything, and from playing it there to the end thoughts, that was about the length of time it took for me to go from this is cool to okay, I'm pretty bored with this. That being said, there is an app, and I haven't had time to kind of play with it with the app, but apparently the app adds a lot more stuff that you can kind of program and mess around with and get more out of it. App stuff isn't really my thing. I know that's not true for everybody. There are a lot of people that love creating app-based program stuff. It's just not my thing. So there is a way to get more enjoyment out of it. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing. All right, so I'm trying to catch up on the comments here. Alexander Nielsen, I 100% understand that. I completely understand that. Hayeks, those figures are actually, even though they're knockoffs, those figures are actually pretty good. I've got a couple of them in my collection. A buddy of mine, Centurion's Corner, made me a custom waxer and boil using that mold, and I can't tell the difference. If anything, it's a little bit better than the official mold. So just because you have the KO isn't a bad thing. I would say get it. I would say keep it. It's good. It's still good. I did not pay for the 7. No, I did not buy that whatsoever. That was not something I bought. That was 100% sent to me by a friend. So I know I'm being quiet. I'm reading, going through this here. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've heard. Is that Hasbro doesn't care, obviously, but Lucasfilm doesn't like body parts in packages. They're very strict with how things are presented. Like, for instance, Chewbacca originally was slated to come out in phase 1 in the packaging, and there was pictures of him, and he has legs weirdly bent and to fit in the package. They delayed him to phase 2 so that he could be straight up and down without his legs bent in the package. And the reason for that is they didn't like how he looked with his legs bent, and that was the only reason they delayed him, was because he had his legs bent in the package. But then in phase 3, the Force Awakens Chewbacca had his legs bent, so it's really weird. What their rules and stipulations are. Keith, dude, thank you. That's super nice of you. I'm gonna leave that up for a while. Maybe not for super long, because I'm gonna click on other stuff here. Let's see here. Do I recommend Dorkside Toys for? Yes, 100%. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I don't even know if they know who I am as a person, as a collector, but they're my go-to. If it's not Hasbro Pulse, Dorkside Toys is usually my go-to for ordering Black Series figures. In fact, I have. Hold on. I don't know if you watched my last live stream that I did, but I unboxed this whole wave with the Boba Fett, the Fennec Shand, all those guys. I'm gonna do reviews on these, but if you want to see me open them, I do it on a live stream video. But the only reason I have this is because Dorkside sent them out super early. Oh, the $500 MP44, 100%. I think an auto transforming Optimus Prime is a neat thing, but it's a party trick, and I think part of the fun of Transformers is transforming them. And if it could do it on its own, that kind of takes away from that, I guess. Yes, Star Wars is pretty much about cutting off body parts. That's true. So it's ironic, to say the least. Gentugo, how you doing? Yeah, I've seen Steve Evans' Chewbacca prototype. It looks cool. At some point, it'd be cool to have in my collection, but there's no way I'm gonna pay anything crazy amount of money for it. It's not worth it for me to have it, but it's a neat piece of Black Series history for sure. I'm in San Diego, California. That's it. I mean, that sounds like you have a pretty good collection there. If you're looking for a Vader, I recommend the Empire Strikes Back Vader that came out in 2020, or the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back version of it. Same figure, just different packages. That, in my opinion, is the best Darth Vader made so far. In terms of Chewbacca and C-3PO, if you can find that Chewbacca C-3PO 2-pack, you kill two birds with one stone. It's one of the better C-3POs, and it's the best Chewbacca made so far. R2 is a harder choice. The Dagobah R2 is probably the most easily accessible one that's not breaking the bank. But he's been weirdly famously underrepresented in releases. In your defense, Matt, the early bird Darth Vader is the second best, and for a while was the best Black Series Darth Vader. The only reason I recommend the Empire Strikes Back one over the early bird New Hope one is I prefer the cloth under the shoulders, because that's how he looked in every other movie except for A New Hope. I've never been a huge fan of the cloth, the under robe over the shoulders, but he also has updated articulation. So I think that's better. Yes, DJ Ronan is correct. If you are looking for an R2, the Bandai model kit is not only a better figure, but it's more in scale. The R2, every astromech droid, because they've all been scaled for the R2, is too small. It's weird, but way too small. I would love for Dorkside to sponsor me. I always have a weird feeling about getting sponsored because I would feel obligated to do content. And one of the things I like now is like I've gotten to a point in my channel where I'm not worried about growing it, if that makes sense. Like I could do things like I could spread out my videos onto another channel to make the algorithm happier with my release schedule. I could make a standardized release schedule, like the same day every week or whatever. I feel like I've got enough. I know it sounds weird, but I feel like I have enough subscribers. I'm not saying I don't want more, and I'm definitely not saying I want less, fewer. But like I feel like I've got enough to be. I've got a sizable amount. I've got way more than I ever thought I would have. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without sounding like I think too much of myself. I don't, but I definitely have way more subscribers than I ever thought in a million years that I would have. And having more would be cool, but like if I never get one more subscriber, that's fine with me. But I've got a lot of good interactions. I've met a lot of great people doing these live streams like this. I have a blast. I like making the content that I make. I like releasing it when I release it. And I'm always a little worried that if I do more for it, it will become a second job instead of just something that I enjoy doing. And right now I want to make it just be something that I enjoy doing because that's what keeps it a hobby instead of a job. Hi, kitten. Hi. See, in the Rise of Skywalker, do I think they dispatched the two stormtroopers that Rey mind tricked on Ren's Star? I mean, I hope not, but I wouldn't put it past it. I'm sure there's a way to modify the cloth shoulders. There we go. Cloth soldiers. No, cloth shoulders. 100% agree, Alexander. They've definitely gotten their value out of those molds. We need new molds. I did. I had the K2SO and I had the probe droid. I think I still have the probe droid somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. It might be somewhere over there. But I gave the K2SO to a friend. I don't, just to kind of loop back on this before I move on. They were too tall, 7 inches. Although that does mean the R2 is probably better in scale. Excuse me, it's probably better in scale. But I don't think making figures out of metal is a good bet. From what I understand, most of the figures, their joints stopped working properly and they got too loose because the metal grinds and loosens over time. You can never find new figures at your Target, Walmart. Yeah, no, I honestly, as far as Black Series goes, I haven't bought Black Series figures from a store, like in store, since the beginning of 2021 when I got the Moff Gideon, Kuiil, and whatever the other guy, the Grief Karga. Those are the last figures I bought in store. Everything else has been pre-orders online. Oh, thanks, Matt. It's very nice of you. Hey, Louis. Luis. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. I had the Black Series Fairy Droid on my list from, I think it was my 2020 list or 2019 list of most wanted figures. Definitely on my list of things I want for sure. That's 100% accurate as well. People buying things to resell them. It's killed a lot of markets. It's a really shitty practice. Don't get Transformers Talk Raw started on it because he won't stop talking about how shitty scalpers are. But it's a fact. It's just a fact. I agree. It's Bib's long overdue. He's not a perfect figure by any means. He does look good though. It's nice to have. I think he should have been released somewhere closer to 2023, but I'm not complaining that I have him. He's good. Yeah, that Chewbacca 3PO set is one. I did a review of it. It's a great display piece. Both are great figures. Both are great iterations of those characters. And getting two of those figures for that price is pretty good. Hi, kitten. What you doing? Come here. Meow. Hi. You say hi to the people? Hi. You say hi? All right, go on. Get off my shirt, though. Thank you. What else did I get? I haven't opened this yet, but I just got this. This is at Walmart on clearance for like $10 or $11. Couldn't say no. The only reason I bought this though is because of the we're gonna do that T-Rex episode of Bots and Shots. I agree, Alexander. I definitely think that Hasbro should do more prequel Jedi. I definitely think that's there's a lot of holes there. As long as they give them the robes, that's really all I care about. Yeah, Kitten wants to chew on all my accessories. I found a couple of Porgs, Black Series Porgs underneath my bed. What else did I get? I haven't opened these either. I'm not going to open these. I have to actually kind of go soon because I have to pick up my in-laws in like an hour or so. But I got this, the Ret King and Vernon 2-pack from NECA. This and the other one that I got are going to be some of my final. I'm kind of dipping out of this line. I like it. I'm glad I have the figures that I have. But I just, other than Usagi Ojimbo and maybe the Neutrinos, I just don't see myself needing more of those. Matt, you should. I bet if you go on Walmart's website, because I just ordered off their website. Let's find out. Beast Wars Megatron. Oh no, looks like they're sold out now. Yeah, they had clearanced Megatron and Optimus Primal down to like it was like $11 or $12. It was something dirt cheap. The other one I picked up is the Ace Duck Mutagen Man. I mostly just cared about Ace Duck. I don't really care about Mutagen Man. He's never been one of my favorites, but Ace Duck is one of my faves. I love Ace Duck. I don't know why they haven't released the Gargoyles in the UK either. The Goliath is a great figure, and I'm definitely getting the Bronx for the extra Goliath wings. Well, also to get Bronx, but you know. And last, definitely not least, got me my Super 7 Donatello. Kind of going with the Donatello that I pulled out earlier from the box. Let's get this out of here. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I've actually decided when I first got these, this is the last one. I've completed it. And I'll probably end up doing my Ninja Turtle retrospective now that I've got this. But when I first got this, I wasn't a big fan of these alternate kind of stylized heads. But now I kind of like them. I really do. I like that he came with the turtle communicators. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take him out of the box and kind of mess around with him. Not right now, not on the stream. I just don't have enough time. Excuse me. It's a great Donnie. But he completes my set. I'm looking up there now. I'll post some pictures. I'll open them up and post some pictures on Instagram. Whoa, Thomas, how you doing? Yeah, hey, what are you chewing on? Stop that. I took a little break once I did the Christmas stuff, just to kind of weed it out. But my goal is to make more content soon, and it's going to be Black Series related. First of all, I've got this whole wave from Dorkside, so I'm going to do the Fennec Shin. I'm going to do the Boba Fett. I'm going to do the Bib Fortuna. I'm looking at him here. The Stormtrooper. I'm probably going to make a whole retrospective of all the new Stormtroopers. Got the Migs Mayfeld. Got the Princess Leia. So I'm going to do all those. I'm going to do video probably. I just got this from Papa Gourd. I'll make this a little video too. The little Night Warrior brother. So there's going to be a lot of content coming from me soon. Obviously, it's the beginning of the year, so I have to do my my top 10 figure list of 2021. I've made a whole this year. I have made a spreadsheet. That's how serious I'm taking that this year. But doing a spreadsheet on it. Hey Matt, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm winding down just so everyone is on the same page. Yes, I am definitely doing a top 10 of 2021. So I'm doing a spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet going on that. I'm also going to make my checklist video. So Kitten, no, stop chewing on stuff. Thank you. So those are videos coming from me. The top 10 video will probably be my next real big official video. Just because I like to get that out of the way as soon as possible. And then I'll work on the others. But those are videos that are definitely coming down the line. So thanks for sticking with me for this long. Sorry, I feel like in 2021 I didn't do as many videos as I normally do. And that's just because a lot of stuff was happening, man. It was a crazy year. Lukeness Monster, how's it going? Happy New Year to you. Yeah, 2021. I mean, I moved. It took a while for a lot of personal stuff to kind of hit and process. And basically the channel got put on the back burner for a lot of it. Callie was not as rambunctious, but we also got her when she was 2. So she was well out of her kitten phase, whereas the kitten we got when she was 4 months old. So she's definitely kitten still. But yeah, I'm gonna be going for about 2 hours. I think that's gonna have to be long enough for today. I've got other stuff that I gotta take care of before I go pick up my in-laws from the airport. And I'm gonna work on videos. I gotta start writing my script for my top 10 video list. So that's gonna be a thing that's happening. I'm also, and this will probably take me an hour or so, and I'll post pictures of a lot of the stuff on my Instagram. I'm gonna figure out how to transform this guy. because as much as I like him in his robot mode here, I really want him in his T-Rex mode. That's mostly why I wanted him. So again, I'll post pictures of that. But as it is for right now, thanks for hanging out. You have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me and being cool people. If you haven't liked the video, I guess, share it, subscribe, whatever, all that stuff. And I guess I'll see you later. I'm just kind of going through here. Bye, everybody. Yeah, I'm clicking on the last few things here. Everyone's so nice. Yeah. Bye.